Are you ready to learn how to get started as a project manager virtual assistant? I'm going to walk you through step by step how to get started, basically managing, starting, maybe even looking over your clients' projects from start to finish, and how to be able to find clients. Of course, make sure to watch until the end of this video for the whole process. Now, first thing is I want to clarify what a project management virtual assistant is. Basically, a lot of your focus is managing the different projects, whether that's internal or external for your client. What an internal project could be is, let's say that they're revamping their whole marketing asset. The project could be, for example, in 2XU in the last month, we've revamped our training program of how we train our new assistants. We had to break down step by step what needs to be done, who needs to be followed up, who was in charge of what was missing, or what needed to get iterated basically or changed throughout the whole process. And it was managed by one of our project managers inside of 2XU. So for you coming into your client's company, you might be in more the internal project management, or commonly the more external project management. What that means is, for example, your client runs a podcast management business where they help basically produce a lot of the content for their client as they're creating their podcast, repurposing it, so on and so forth. That is your project. Every single video or podcast video that comes in is a project that you guys are getting from start to finish. So not just that, maybe you could be managing, let's say, content. You could be managing a whole delivery of a service, for example, for your client. You're just coordinating between the people who need to get it done and the people who want it done, basically the client, and updating them and making sure that they know what's going on, as well as supporting the team, removing any bottlenecks or anticipating bottlenecks as they come in. So the whole process is a little bit smoother. So what do you need to do to get started as a project manager virtual assistant? First is you want to go ahead and build your expertise. I gave you guys the very basics of what it looks like to be basically a project manager VA. You want to build your expertise. You want to go ahead and start going through courses and books on project management to start, so you can get a little bit of the basics of what that actually looks like. There's a lot of really good free courses. If you guys go to Coursera, Google has a project management course that I really recommend that you guys can get started on. You guys can also look at videos of other YouTubers, for example, who created content of like, hey, this is the day in my life of being a project manager, and learning what are different types of project managers as well. Next is you want to go ahead and know what works. You might even want to go and interview those people who are project manager VAs so you can see what the day-to-day looks like. You might even want to see what are the examples of maybe styles of project management that they've used, maybe the tools that they've had, strategies, how they work with other people. It's kind of learning the bits and pieces that come with the job. So then for you have a little bit more confidence in the experience of other people. You can skip a lot of their mistakes as you're getting started. Then you want to go ahead and start learning how to start and manage projects. Now you can start this with yourself. You can do a mini project. Maybe the mini project is something as small as maybe doing a little spring cleaning in your home, creating a checklist of what is the step-by-step of things you want to make sure gets cleaned or thrown out. Maybe you want to get your whole bed kind of vacuumed, or you want to get all of your sheets to the laundry. So that is an example of a project that you can do for yourself that you're kind of testing out in real life what it could look like. Another project that you can maybe even do is, let's say you run a nonprofit project for friends. Maybe it's doing a food drive or collecting donations. These are different projects that you can start thinking, so then you are, even without a client, already doing and practicing of some of your skills, because then later on in an interview, if a client asks what are other projects basically that you've managed before, you can start counting those. Next is start mastering project management strategies. Now, one that I love to use, or a tool basically that I love to use, is essentially Scrum. It is one of the easiest ways, at least for someone who doesn't have programming background or software development background, to be able to know and manage things as they come in. It's learning how to use things like Trello or a Kanban board, or being able to follow a project of where they are at in the process. So it's finding different strategies that have worked for different people and learning when to use them. Next is, as you're learning more and more, and hopefully as you've started your own personal mini projects, you've gone ahead and actually started looking for clients. Now, project management is an easy enough thing to start diving into, but it's also important what kind of niche you want to learn or or you want to be in. So as I've given you different examples, there's podcasting industry or niche, there's social media management, there's content creation, there is other services, like if your client was a consultant or if your client was giving a specific service for their clients, you might also want to go into that niche. The easiest way, to be honest, is just focus on something that you already like or you already enjoy. So as a funny example, if I was going to do project management myself, I would actually work with a book publisher because I love books and I know what goes into it. There's the editing process, the second editing, the third editing, proofreading, the beta readers, creating the graphic. I know that whole process because I'm in it. I love what it comes to the publishing side of books. So then those are the kinds of clients I can target. Or if you are just kind of figuring out what you want to do, just go to job sites like LinkedIn, Google Jobs, or if you're a Filipino, onlinejobs.ph, and start just looking at the job description and what are the expected things for the role that you're trying to apply for. And just start sending out your application. Now, I do have other videos on how to prepare your resume, how to prepare your application letter. I even have more on how to use ChatGPT on how to do that. You guys can check those out. But essentially, just start putting yourself out there so you can start seeing people's responses. You can actually test yourself out in the field. Next is you want to start getting referrals. If you're doing more of a actual legit project-based, it's not an ongoing project manager VA kind of work, then you want to start asking like, hey, loved working with you, feel free to refer me. I'll give you X, Y, and Z kind of a reward if you are able to successfully refer someone who wants to work with me and pays me. Or you can even go ahead and start getting testimonials of how it was like to work with you as you're doing in different projects. If let's say you've been hired as part-time or even full-time as a project manager or VA, start tracking the wins of the different projects that you're doing. Start getting documentation of how you've done them, because then that becomes kind of your case study and essentially becomes a way for you to go back and reflect on how past projects have gone and how you can improve also moving forward. And speaking of, again, go ahead and create the documentation of what it is that you do, including the wins, the step-by-step process of like how you did XYZ, maybe the bottlenecks that you guys went through, whatever that looks like for you and what you've done so far. Document them, write them down, create standard operating procedures. So then the next time that you create a project, you just have a checklist essentially of what to do, what materials to prepare, what tools that you have, so then it's easy for you to start over and over again. And of course, lastly, build your profile. Start going ahead, whether you've chosen to just really be project-based, you've chosen to be part-time or full-time, just build your authority and either create content about what it is that you do, or going ahead and making sure that, again, you're collecting those testimonials, those referrals, so you can start building more and more into your career, and maybe trying certifications like the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt, which I do have, maybe trying out other certifications just to keep up leveling yourself throughout the whole process of being a project manager. Now, if you guys liked this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what kind of project manager are you. I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!